Hamilton crosses the line. Provisional pole is his, but he doesn't improve on his time. Valtteri Bottas next to cross the line. He denied Hamilton last week. Can he do it again? No, he can't. So it's Hamilton and Verstappen and Bottas. Can Verstappen get pole? No, he can't get pole, but his teammate Sergio Perez is going well behind. Out of the final corner now. Realistically, one car to deny Hamilton pole today, and Perez doesn't. It's a ton of poles for Lewis Hamilton in Formula One. The Spanish Grand Prix pole, his 100th in his Formula One career.
Yes, we are back. Greeny and the Cheese in the paddock F1. That was Crofty's call from Sky Sports, courtesy of Formula1.com. As always, Lewis Hamilton is the king. 100 poles coming at the Circuit de Barcelona de Catalunya. Greeny, good evening.
What is up, Cheese? Yeah, 100. We didn't get it in Portugal, but we got it in Espanol in Spain, or España, I should say. What a great day for Lewis Hamilton. He's winning it by just, the skin of his teeth there. But yeah, a pole is a pole, and he's going to be sitting on it tomorrow. Max Verstappen is going to be alongside of him as it has been several times, and it will be going forward many, many times, as we presume, throughout the season. Yeah, man. That's really it. 100. Look at that. Front of the pack.
Well, nobody's ever had 100 before.
Never. Not even close.
King.
I mean, well, he blew
second
by
place. No, not even close. I think second is Schumacher, and he's got 68, if I'm not mistaken.
60. I believe that's correct.
I think it was something like 50. I think it was something like 58 with Ferrari and 10 with Benetton. So he's far and away leads that number, but he's the GOAT. Am I surprised? No. And he's going to continually add to that tally the rest of the season, and as long as he continues to drive in Formula One, he's going to be adding to that number, and it's absolutely amazing. That's really all you can say. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's like Schumacher 68, Senna 65, Vettel 57. I mean, Vettel could conceivably accidentally get one pole before, I don't know. He's probably going to stick at 57. That's it. I mean, those are the big four, and it's not even close. It's not even close how far ahead Lewis Hamilton is now. And I remember when Lewis Hamilton passed Schumacher, it feels like not that long ago, and to look up and see, 32 plus 32 on the board. I mean, it's crazy. And I know he was plus 31 for a month before this, and it wasn't crazy. And 100 is just a number, right? But it's such an impressive number. Almost an unattainable, unfathomable number. If you told me that someone was going to beat Schumacher, I'd be like, all right. If you told me someone was going to beat Schumacher by 32 and counting, like 50%, I mean, it's 50%, right? 32, it's 45% more poles than the next guy. That's like if someone in baseball,
it's stupid.
It's someone in baseball hits 1,200 career home runs. What's the all-time leader for goals in hockey? Come on.
800 and...
It's Gretzky.
860 something?
860 something. I mean, imagine someone comes out and has 1,200 goals
nonsense
in a career.
Is what it is. It's absolute nonsense. It's crazy. Lewis is a king. He's just... The greats always can find that little quarter second more than everybody else, and Lewis continues to do it. He's the best. He's the king. He's the GOAT.
Yeah, just for
Not
comparison.
much more else you can say about that.
Yeah, again, just for comparison, Wayne Gretzky, 894 career goals. Gordie Howe is second at 801. And that's a pretty big gap between that. I mean, that's like if Wayne Gretzky scored 300 more goals for his career on top of that. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy what's going on. As we said last show, I don't want to sit here and wax poetic for a half an hour every single week about Lewis Hamilton, but you can. It's that impressive. And again, I mean, did he win by even a tenth of a second? Like, he didn't. Is Verstappen like
Two
right
tenths.
there?
2/10.
2/10, barely 2/10.
2/10.
Less than 2/10. He's 2/10 better. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a tough one for Lewis to lose. On this track, it's going to be
What is
tough.
it? Isn't it something like 20 or 22 of the last like 30 pole winners have won it?
Something like that. It's a very high percentage. It's 60+% of pole winners all time have won at the track. So it's very pole heavy. Are we going to see on the first on turn 3, Verstappen passing Hamilton and being gone? That's a possibility. That's a possibility depending on what the start looks like.
Could happen going into turn 1 with that long run down to turn 1.
Absolutely,
one of the longest starting runs in Formula One. I mean, he could get the slipstream and pass him going into turn 1 and then be off and away. So it's definitely, absolutely a possibility.
So
there's always that possibility.
So, like I'm saying,
Mercedes race pace over the weekend was a little bit quicker also than everybody else. But you can't totally take full. You can't take that as everything in the bag, since Red Bull seemed to be sandbagging on Friday. So you can't take that for all that's worth. But we'll see what that comes to. But yeah, Lewis, if Verstappen gets the good jump, he can definitely get in there in turn 1 for sure and come out of there in the lead. That's 100% possibility.
Yeah, absolutely. Right down the stretch, the whole race is going to be the first 5 to 10 seconds of the race, because it's a tough track to pass on. It's going to be tough. There's very few spots to pass on. Like you said, turn 1 is going to be a good spot to pass, if any. And
that's almost kind of one of the only spots to really pass because with the change they made to turn 10 this year, taking out the hairpin aspect of turn 10 and making it more of a, just a sweeping curve, that was a passing spot going into that hairpin. So that's definitely the sweeping curve is definitely going to take away that passing spot on the track. So that's going to be one less spot that you're going to be able to pass at for sure. So it's definitely going to be, passes are going to be hard to come by. That's why quality here is that important, and why if you quality on pole, you tend to win here.
Yeah. But row 1, strong as always, 2 best drivers, 2 best cars right in row 1. So, and it's been great to not see 2 silver bullets on the front row every single week. So at least Verstappen's giving that, and it's going to be a drag race right down the stretch. Anything mechanically that happens, anything driver error that happens in the first 5 seconds of the race, and it's very, very interesting as you see the cars stack up on the grid. How many piggybacks we have within teammates here, as we have Hamilton and Bottas piggybacking each other. We have Danny and Lando piggybacking each other at 7 and 9. We have the Ferraris piggybacking each other at 4 and 6. It's very interesting with a tight race how the first turn down the stretch is going to play out. It's going to be fascinating tomorrow. Great track. Should be a fun race, but if you're not in your seats when the lights are out, you're going to miss most of the race. So be in your seat. That's the only advice. The best advice I can give you tomorrow is be in your seat, or record it, or make sure you're sitting down because the entire race could take place in the first 10 seconds.
The starts at Spain are always fantastic. You get through one, and then you got two, and then once you get to three, the big sweeping turn, which you can just have guys ripping. I remember Fernando being ridiculous, passing, I think, like 2-3 cars coming out of there at a two, around three on the outside, just ripping people on the outside. So three is also a very exciting corner at the beginning of the races at Barcelona here. Moving on, though, moving into our surprises for Q1, 2, and 3. And I will start off with my surprise at Q1, and that would be Yuki missing out on Q2. Especially, I do believe in Q1, Gasly came into there in 5th. And Yuki not getting out is not good when your teammate is that far up compared to you. And he did drop a F-bomb there, coming into the pit saying he cannot blank drive the car.
Gotta love the F-bombs.
Not what you want to hear from your driver.
Gotta love the F-bombs unless
Yuki
you are
has a dirty
in the garage.
Yuki has a dirty mouth, as we have come to understand.
Oh, he's out there. He's out there 2 a.m. He's out there 2 a.m. playing Call of Duty, man. He knows what's up. Guys like that do not have a clean vernacular. They're not known to have the cleanest of vocabularies. So he's taking his aggression out, and he's pissed. He's showing he's pissed. He's young. He's 20 years old. If you were 20 years old and driving in a car like that, you'd be cussing all kinds of stuff. They'd be turning your radio off. Not suitable for work, if you're driving a car like that at 20 years old.
Well, no. I also have a mouth of a truck driver. I work very hard to clean it up for the podcast program here.
Yes, you do. And I do commend you.
Not to drop any type of curse words. It's very hard. I'm not going to lie. What was your surprise at Q1, my friend?
My surprise was easily Kimi. Not, his worst finish since 2003? Was that right? Did I read that correctly?
Something like that, yeah. Something like that, yeah.
The Iceman finished 17th. I mean, that's beyond surprising. That's shocking. But it happens when you're driving an Alfa Romeo. So Kimi in 17th.
Yep.
Russell made it out because he's Saturday George, and I don't think there's many other surprises in Q1 there besides nothing really. Latifi finishing 19th, and and away we go to Q2.
I think that's it. All right, my surprising Q2 is Aston Martin. Both cars. No Moss to Q3. Embarrassment.
Yeah.
Hello there. Are you asleep, sir?
No, I was.
Are you asleep, sir?
I was deep in ponderance over your answer and trying to figure out what my real surprise in Q2 was. I didn't really have too many surprises in Q2. I mean, I wasn't really shocked at anything. It's not like any of the big four.
You were not shocked by Aston Martin not getting a car out of Q2 in the Q3.
I wasn't.
You were not shocked by that at all.
I wasn't shocked. I mean,
okay. I was a little bit shocked. I was definitely shocked.
Yeah, I mean, you have Alpine,
definitely shocked,
who puts two cars into Q3. I wasn't really shocked at all.
We're not to Q3 yet. Okay,
but
so Q2 was poo-poo Q2 to you then. You kind of yawned in Q2.
It was business as usual. It was no.
You yawned to Q2. Surprises. Okay.
We didn't see Carlos Sainz in 11th this time. We didn't see Danny Ricciardo in busting out and in Q2. I mean, we didn't see any surprises like that. You're going to see some good days from Aston Martin.
Okay.
You're going to see some bad days from Aston Martin. I mean, you got two mediocre drivers driving your car. I mean, I don't mediocre, not the legacy of Sebastian Vettel, but his driving skills as of today, as of right now. And Lance Stroll has some good days and he has some not so good days. And today wasn't a great day for him. I didn't hear of any mechanical issues going on with Aston Martin. I don't know if I missed something or if you heard something I didn't, but yeah, Alpine was boss today and they made it into Q3 and they took those really that 8-9 spot, which you're going to see every week. You pretty much should assure yourself that you should have the eight vehicles, the 8 cars that are going to be up there each week. And you pretty much know your 8, and then you fill in the other 2. And who are the other 2 going to be? And this time it was Alpine, and no Astons, no AlphaTauris. And away we go. Because like you said, the whole season.
In Q3.
All right, go ahead. Whatever. No, go ahead. Continue. In Q3.
Are you mad, sir?
Are
you mad, sir? Do you need a tissue? Do you need a tissue?
Not at
all. My surprise of Q3 would be Alpine coming in in 5th, and then Perez dropping an egg at 8th. Big egg from Perez. But the big surprise to me was Alpine 5th, huge monster there from Ocon, throwing it down.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was shocked by Perez. I mean, obviously, I just talked about Alpine, so I'm not going to repeat myself. But Perez, I mean, he also had a great sector 1 on his last lap, and then you think he's going to finish better than 8th. I thought he was going to challenge for pole at some point coming around on that last lap, and then he comes in an 8th. And it's just again, it's a 10th of a second. That's all it takes. It takes one spin of the wheel going the wrong way or coming out of the turn or accelerating in the wrong spot or not accelerating quick enough. And that's the difference between, 3rd or 2nd and 8th. I mean, I don't think he was going to finish top 2. I mean, top 2 finished, Hamilton finished, 0.2 of a second better than Bottas, but 3/100ths of a second better than Verstappen. I mean, that was pretty damn close. What was the final?
Perez, for Perez?
No, what was the final number for Verstappen and Hamilton on the front row in Q3? What was the final? What was
Hamilton had a 1 minute 16.741. Max had 1:16.777.
So I mean,
Perez was a 1:17. Perez was a 1:17.7.
That was a big difference.
So basically a full second. That was a big off
difference.
The top 2.
That was a big difference, and something
that's
happened.
A monster difference. Well, didn't he spin it in he spun it there coming out of what's that? He spun coming into 13. He put the left rear on the gravel coming into 13, and he spun it out coming out of there on his first go in Q3, if I remember right.
Yeah, when you're going,
he had to really push it. He had all the pressure on his second run in Q3 to really have to throw it down. And if I remember right, I think Crofty was really talking up his coming out of his final lap there, because I don't recall seeing any of his numbers across the board coming up purple. I think they were green, which means personal best, but he didn't have any purples to say that he was going to have any chance at pole. So I think David Croft was just talking that up a little bit. Obviously, I was the only car left on the track that could challenge Lewis, but I don't think Perez had, as we see, he had no chance to catch Lewis, being a second off the pace.
Yeah, more than a second off the pace. That was a big difference. And yeah, he was getting fired up. Everyone was trying to get a little fired up, but in the end, 100, pretty damn impressive. I know we end where we started. We're gonna come back. We got some big news in the gambling world. We're gonna make some picks tonight. We're gonna maybe go on a ledge. I don't know. Maybe it's a safe pick. I don't know. You're going to stick around. You're going to listen. And if you haven't made your F1 bets yet, don't make them until you hear this. Greeny and the Cheese in the Paddock F1. Back after this.
What's up, everyone? Greeny from In the Paddock here. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Please let me explain. It's free. Okay, free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you for free, so it can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many, many more. You can make money as well. Money with your podcast. No minimum listenership, and it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Yes, we are back in the Paddock F1. Greeny and the Cheese. I know, yeah. If you're a fan of the show, you know what's coming right now. When we do a double show weekend, Saturday night special, it is everyone's favorite segment. It's the gambling segment. Greeny, this is your segment. Take it away.
Well, it's another episode of Gambling with Greeny, and maybe that's what we'll call it. And
name is still in the works. We will take suggestions.
We've had a song submitted, so it's been interesting. If you do have suggestions for what we should call the show or the segment, I apologize. Hit us up in the Paddock USA at gmail.com. But yeah, we're gambling, or at least I am. And of course, if I fail to mention 1-800-GAMBLER, if you do have a gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER in the US. I don't know what it is internationally. I should probably find out. All right, so 1, 2, 3, as we call them. 1, 2, 3. Number 1. I got Max Verstappen winning. I think he's going to take it on like I said, turn 1, 2, 3, somewhere in there. He's going to take it and he's going to hit it and he's going to be he's going to win the race. Number 2 is Hamilton. I think Hamilton will definitely come in second, unless there's an accident or something ridiculous happens. And then number 3 is always interesting, right? Because that's where really you can go in several different directions. And again, for gambling purposes, I wouldn't put ever 1, 2, 3 Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas. That's just there's no payout there. Low risk, low reward. We go with high risk, high reward. So number 3, ladies and gentlemen, because it's in Spain, we're gonna go with Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari in third place, being on podium. And that is my 1, 2, 3. Verstappen, Hamilton, Sainz. Reactions, Cheese. As you sit
That's
up in your chair.
That's bold. That is bold. What's that? What did you say?
You sat up in your chair, and it was such a natural reaction. It was very fun to watch. Rarely do we get such natural reactions. And you're like, wow. You got a Scuderia.
That was wow.
On the podium. Insane.
Well, I am also going to throw in a trifecta this week. I also did have a Scuderia in third, but I have Charles. Coming in third, I have Verstappen 2, and the GOAT number 1, Sir Lewis. I have winning the race. We'll hold off Max through the first 3 corners, and off and away, Lewis will go. Hippity hoppity. Up to Catalonia, Lewis will go. That is how I have it. That is a bold choice, though, with Carlos. Very bold.
I like the odds.
Very bold.
I like getting the odds close to 30-1, and because it's worth the day, right? Daddy needs a new pair of everything sometimes, so it's worth the day. It makes it fun to watch, and that leaves with the highest climber as well. It was a tough one this week, right? It was a tough one. There was no real obvious choice.
Well, to be honest, I was just thinking about going with the straight homer, Lewis, Verstappen, Bottas, to be honest. But then I sat there and thought, and Bottas has not been coming in third. It's been somebody else. So I'll throw a shot with the Scuderia starting fourth. The fear for me with that choice is Ferrari's putrid strategy as of late. So that does have me a little afraid of that choice. I also had a thought of going with Ocon, to be honest, for an even further outlier. But I decided to go with Charles there. Your pick is bold. Mine's not as bold.
Slightly more conservative, but not as conservative as, the 1, 2, 3 as they're shown. No respect for Bottas on this show. And once again, he's
got to start giving me something.
Yeah, I mean, he had some.
He's got to start giving something.
Some bad finishes. I mean, what did he finish 8th already this season?
Yep.
Anyway, not good. So biggest risers. This is a tough one this week. This is a tough one. I'm gonna go. This seems like a cop-out choice because I think someone from the back has an opportunity to come to the front. I'm just not seeing it. My first instinct was Lance Stroll, but I'm not seeing it from him this weekend. So I'm gonna go with Lando Norris. I think 3 or 4 spots might take it. I think if Lando finishes 5th, that might take best riser. I don't see anyone from the back coming up to the front. I could be wrong. There could be an accident, a crash or something, and change things around a lot. But Lando's my choice. I think +4. I think that will take it. Cheese, you got one? Any reactions? He's frantically looking.
I have the exact same thing. I have Lando. I had Lando. I have him at a +4.
Lando +4. Look at you.
Lando +4. Lando +4.
I was thinking Perez.
Great minds think alike, sir.
I was thinking Perez, but something's fishy. Something's fishy right now with Perez in his car. I think it's the curse of the second seat of Red Bull. I think we talked about it already. I think it's well known. Something's going on.
You don't want to be Max's teammate, apparently.
You don't want to be Max's teammate.
Apparently, you do not want to be Max's teammate.
So
apparently, you do not want to be Max's teammate.
Something's going on. Witchcraft, witchery. I wouldn't put anything past these Red Bull cars or Max Verstappen. I don't know. It's just weird. That
you're saying there's some crazy Dutch magic going on here?
There might be some crazy Dutch magic going on. I think there could be a song called Crazy Dutch Magic.
Crazy Dutch Magic?
I smell a hit coming on.
I smell a hit, he says.
Smell it.
Okay there, sir.
Any final thoughts going into tomorrow's race before the big show?
Should be a good one. That's pretty much all I got. It should be a good one. Start should be fantastic. The rundown into turn one is always exciting. You can also see some mix-ups, some crashes. You could even see safety car in lap one, since we've seen a safety car pretty early in every race so far this season. So could see one again early tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, or we could see no safety car tomorrow, and we can have a rip-roaring race. But a lot of these situations when we're going to have some really, really tough passing spots, and sometimes drivers just want to make things happen. We've seen a lot of bonehead moods this season so far in the 3 races we've had. Maybe just as many bonehead moves as we always seen, and you really can't put it past anyone to be, a jackass and do something stupid, cause a crash and reshuffle the entire field at any time. So that's what makes it fun. That's what makes Formula One as fun as it does, and as dangerous as it is sometimes. But drivers are going to get frustrated tomorrow. What do you think is the frustration level that you might see, and some dumb things that we might see? That could happen from any driver besides Lewis Hamilton, who never gets frustrated apparently. But even Max Verstappen gets frustrated.
You can see some hotheads tomorrow. You can see hotheads tomorrow. I can see. Yeah, you can see. It's hard to pass. Drivers will start barking on the radio, get me in, let's do an undercut. So, and it's going to be interesting to see what kind of strategies play out. Is there going to be a 1-stop or a 2-stop race? I'm thinking it might be a 2-stop race, since just by the way the teams used the tires for qualifying, nobody went out on the mediums in Q2, which makes me since they were saving the medium, so I'm thinking there might be a 2-stop race tomorrow.
Yeah, what's the weather conditions? Any weather conditions?
I don't think there's any weather at all for tomorrow.
There is no weather.
I don't think there's anything. Tomorrow. I don't believe there's anything really. Only thing you could say with the weather at Circuit de Catalunya, the afternoon can get a little breezy.
A little breezy, no rain, no thunderstorms, no snow, no golf balls.
Not that I am aware of.
Nothing crazy.
No, it should be pretty straightforward weather-wise.
First time we've had no crazy track conditions, or at least no problematic track conditions, as we talked about last week. Bahrain had like sandstorms, and then we had the wet conditions. In where did we race? The second race,
Imola.
No. Yes, in Imola, of course. Imola. We had the wet conditions, and then we had windy conditions, where that's what happens when you're on seaside. That
Portimao, Portugal,
and Portimao, and now it seems like we're gonna have normal track conditions tomorrow. So let's see, let's let them rip in normal conditions, and we'll probably have 7 incidents that happen in these normal conditions because of the passing radius. So should be interesting. Where do we race next? It's Monaco next, isn't it?
Monaco.
It's Monaco next. So we're gonna have 2
yes,
of the toughest passing races that we're gonna have in the entire calendar coming up this week and next week. So if you are new to Formula
I think it's 2 weeks to Monaco.
What's that? Or in the next race.
I think it's a fortnight to Monaco.
Yes, it is a fortnight after tomorrow night. But yeah, it should be an interesting 2 races. It is going to be an amazing landscape once again. Love being out and the views and those high views out in Spain. But be there early. If you're not in your seat early, you're going to miss it. So you want to be there for the first lap of the race. You want to be there for the start of the race, DVR it or TiVo or whatever the hell you use. And don't miss it, because that's the whole race. If you miss that, you might as well go back to sleep. Cheese, any last thoughts?
Well, don't do that. DVR that thing so you can rewind it.
Yeah, rewind it and watch it
DVR
over
that
and over
stuff.
again. Yes.
Anything else? We will see you tomorrow. Post-race.
Post-race tomorrow.
Reactions, thoughts, how the gambling went. We'll see you tomorrow evening.
Oh, the bets are in, baby. See you tomorrow evening. Don't miss it. Thanks for everyone for listening. You want to reach out to us, Greeny in the Paddock, Cheese in the Paddock, both at Instagram. And, of course, you can email us in the paddock USA at gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow.